looking at the Yamaha XT225, and if I had to summarize this bike in one sentence, I would say it's the jack of all trades, master of none. So let's do a quick walk around. I'll tell you a bit about the bike, and then we'll go out and ride on the road and on the trail, because this is a dual sport after all. So I'm sure you guys want to see both on and off-road riding there. So these bikes, these came out in the 90s, and this particular model is 20 years old. It's a 04, and it's still kicking around strong as ever. I love it. It's a great all-around bike, a great beginner bike. So let's go over some of the stuff about the bike here. So this bike, obviously, as the name of it, it's a 225cc engine pumping out about 20-ish horsepower or so. So it's not quick, it's not fast, but it'll get the job done. So up here, instrument cluster, you got your speedometer, your choke right here. This is a carbureted bike, it's not fuel injected. It has electronic starter right here. From factory, this doesn't come with a Kickstarter, but I know you can get aftermarket kits installed for it that you can have it installed right here, so you can have the Kickstarter as well as the push start. This bike, it's pretty well factory, minus a couple things. I have the back cargo rack here. I installed that just because if I ever want to take anything, didn't want to bring a backpack, I could do that. I have currently on top of it right now, it's a 1.5 liter fuel tank. So that's just for the reason that this doesn't have a fuel gauge. I'll get into that in a bit. But and also, these aren't factory either. This is just Moose Racing handle guards, so that way if the bike tips over on the trail, it saves the levers here. So both two upgrades worth looking into. It has a factory skid plate underneath. Here's your petcock for the carburetor, chain driven. Right here is just a little storage for some tools. The big blinkers right there. You got your mirrors up front. There's not much to it, guys. It's a good all-around bike. So let's ride down and talk about it. By the way, we're at my buddy's cabin here in beautiful northern Ontario, and it is a wet day. Over the past 2 days or so, we got 30 mils of rain here and snow, so it's gonna make for a sloppy off-roading video, but it'll be fun nonetheless. Come on, baby. All right. So we'll start off the video. We got to go down this trail, and it's like it's probably like 100 feet of elevation, so it doesn't seem that steep on video, but we're going down at a pretty good descent, so I basically just can coast down the whole way. It is super muddy, super muddy. Obviously, if you had a bit better tires than what I had, it'd be better than how I'm doing it, because the back is just sliding out all over the place. But all right, on a gravel road here. So yeah, this bike, just looking at it when you're riding it, there's not much to it. You got your speed cluster there. It doesn't have a fuel gauge, but what most people do and what I do on the forums, they say this bike gets around 200 kilometers on a tank if you fill it up completely. So every time you fill up at the gas station, this little trip meter here, just reset it back to 0, and then you know roughly once it starts getting up to around like 160, 170 kilometers, then you should probably go to the gas station again and fill up. And because this doesn't have a fuel gauge or gas light on it, what I do, in the beginning of the video you saw on my cargo rack, I had an extra 1.5 liter fuel bottle there strapped to it, just in case you're ever out in the middle of nowhere and you run out of gas. It's always good to have just a bit more so you can top up and get to the nearest gas station there. So we'll go, we're going to be on the main road in a second here. Now for all you off-roading people out there who have big clunky motocross boots like I do, it's nice that this bike does have a fairly good adjustment in the left side there. So you can raise it up or lower the bar so it can fit underneath your boots and everything, which is nice. All right. But yeah, this bike, it definitely suits beginners, or maybe it'd make a good farm bike. The guy who I picked it up from, actually, that's what he used it for. He had a farm in like central Ontario, and he just used this as a farm bike because it just works, you know. So the one main gripe I have with this bike is starting it up after a long time of sitting. So I don't know what it is about this carburetor in the bike, but if you leave the bike for about a week or longer, let's say you leave it over the winter break, you leave it for a couple months without it being started, it's sometimes a hassle to get it started. But the trick that I read that is pretty good, that works every time, is on the side here on the petcock, right before you know you're about to stop riding and then shut it off for a week or more, what you're going to do is shut the fuel petcock to off and let the bike run out of gas with inside the carburetor, and then it'll be done. The bike will shut off. The next time you start it back up, you just turn the petcock to on and pull the choke all the way out, and then try to start it up. If not, you can give the throttle a little twist or two, but that seems to have worked. It's just after sitting a long time. My buddy had the exact same bike, and he had a hard time trying to start it too. But one other thing that I will say, so yeah, I said in the beginning, this bike is pretty good at everything but not great at anything, and that's pretty true. Like on the road, it's fantastic. The suspension is very nice. It's smooth, it's nimble. It only weighs 250 pounds, so if you're off-roading and you tip it over on the trail, it's pretty easy to pick back up and just continue from where you left off. It's not like a big, heavy, sluggish machine, which is nice. The rear suspension, I have noticed it does bottom out quite a bit when you're going on some serious off-road trails, but that's not too bad of a problem for me or for beginners. It shouldn't be too bad. And yeah, this bike is definitely capable of cruising at highway speeds. It's just you're not going to get much more out of that. It's only a 225cc engine, so the max speed that I can get this to is around 118 kilometers an hour, which is just about highway speeds there. Like most highways in Ontario are 100 miles an hour, or not miles an hour, 100 kilometers an hour, which is 60 miles an hour. And yeah, I can get up to 118, so you can definitely cruise on the highway with this bike. Just don't expect to pass anyone in a hurry, especially on the highway. You're not going to be passing people there. But I mean, around the city, it's a great bike. You know, it's good fuel consumption there. It doesn't take hardly anything to fill up this tank. Yeah, the gears are nice for beginners. It's really easy to shift. The clutch is very nice and smooth. We're gonna go on this gravel road here. See how slippery it is. It's pretty quiet, as expected for a bike of this size too. Not too bad. The first gear in this bike is very short. It gets you from like 0 to 5 kilometers an hour, and that's about it. So you could even start in second gear off of stop signs and stoplights and everything like that. yeah, it's a comfortable bike. It does have passenger pegs, which is nice. So if you want to take anyone on a little bicycle date, motorcycle date, then you can. The seat's very comfy. I've ridden this bike for 2 hours, 3 hours straight. No complaints at all. It's really comfy. It's wide. It's nice. It's cushy. The suspension's nice. I will say the factory foot pegs that come with this bike, they're not the greatest. They're super tiny. I'll throw in a picture of it. But I got aftermarket foot pegs. If you can kind of see there, they're wider. They're bigger. They're nice. If you definitely get them if you have the big boots on. Couple of, oh, looks like one ATV died there. They're towing it. This road goes on for like an hour. I could be doing this. I don't want to go all the way to the end because there's no cell reception, and if anything ever happened, that I'm just by myself, right? So, all right, we're back at the beautiful cabin here. Look at this nice stream. All right, to finish off the video, we'll do a bit of off-roading, and it's super muddy out, so I have a feeling I'm probably gonna fall at least once. It'll be fun. This trail won't look like much on video, but yeah, look how wet it is already. Jeez. Okay, this is gonna be fun. Try to stay in the middle. This trail that I'm about to go up, it's probably 100 meters of elevation within a short distance of time, so there's not it's very steep. Very steep. Alright, we're gonna climb this part in second gear. This is getting steeper. Lots of rain washout over the past couple days. That wasn't too bad. And this bike is pretty comfortable too to stand up on it. You see, I don't want to stand up on it where there's the water. Oh, this is the bad part. Let's see if I can make it up this. All right. Okay, nice. We're still climbing. We're still climbing. Lots of elevation on this trail. Really muddy around here. Oh, look at all this. That's the beauty of dual sports though, isn't it? You can go on road, you can go off road. Hey, look at turkey. You can go on road, you can go off road. You can go wherever you want on a dirt bike, you know, on dual sport. It's sky's the limit. You can see beautiful places like this in nature. It is truly a great hobby. Oh, down here. Oh. Use the back brake as much as I can down here so I don't go over the handlebars. Okay. Nice. Nice, nice. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up this video on the Yamaha Xt-225. It's a great all-around bike, great beginner bike, great farm bike. Anyone who just wants to cruise around the city, maybe spend a little less on gas, great for that. Do some casual off-roading, also great for that. It's just all around really fun bike, reliable once you get it started there. and very cheap too. As I finish off this little trail, I'll sign off and say you guys have a nice day. Check out the rest of my channel if you like this kind of stuff. See ya.